Duke Nukem 3D was one of those games that practically screamed third-person shooter. It was hard-knuckle action with a lewd sense of humor. The star was a combination of every action star that ever existed in the 80s. It is brutal, hilarious, and downright entertaining to this day. The sequel was shown way back in 1998, but due to delays and constantly switching hands, we get it 12 years later. I'm going to go into this review without high expectations, so Duke Nukem Forever. Here I come! Duke Nukem Forever will instantly dash the hopes and dreams of those who were anticipating it, while those who don't even know who Duke Nukem is will be immediately turned off by what they are playing. The opening sequence starts off with our hero at his finest, destroying the giant cycloid at the end of Duke Nukem 3D. When you finally get to the real game, for about 45 minutes, it is completely devoid of action. Duke will have an encounter with the twins. He also watches a bit of news to find out that the aliens have returned to Earth. He then rises from his seat and walks through his casino to record an interview. Unfortunately for Duke, it turns out that his interview has been cancelled due to the presence of the aliens.
Sorry, Duke. Looks like they're shutting us down for the night.
So with a bruised ego, he walks off into the back and handles an overreacting actor. The casino begins to rumble a bit and the patrons start to scramble for their lives. Eventually, our main man Duke Nukem makes it to his throne. He encounters a man that will not move from his seat unless he gets his picture taken.
Hey, get lost, pal. The king needs his throne.
No way, man, no way! I'm not leaving until I get my picture on this throne!
So our friend Duke helps him with that before having a seat and going down into the Duke Cave. Upon entering, Duke heads over to the console for a conference with the president. He tells Duke that he will continue negotiations with the aliens, and that under no circumstances should Mr. Nukem get involved.
You are not required. Do not get involved. That's an order.
It was at this point that I paused and quit out of the game. I checked my Steam library to assure myself that I was still playing Duke Nukem Forever. I realized that I had gone about 40 plus minutes without killing a pig cop. It was right at this moment that I knew something was wrong with this game. Regardless, I rebooted the game and continued deeper into the Duke Cave. I noticed that the aliens were sabotaging weapons and finally thought I would give my chance to blow off some heads. Aha! An alien finally attacks me from the doorway. I punch him in his face and look around for a gun. No gun in sight just yet. So Duke is reduced to throwing trophies of himself at bad guys. Finally, I enter a room where the enemies have guns. Things were looking up, folks. I throw a few things and punch some guys out, only to find out that the guns seem to have vanished. This is at the point where I decided to play some pinball. Let me just stop here, because I can go on about this all day. This is the main problem with Duke Nukem. Far too many times where you're doing something rudimentary. Each zone has a point where the action just stops in its tracks, and that's assuming that you were given a lot of action in the first place. There are tons of boring puzzles or areas where Duke is platforming as a shrunken version of himself. Duke will even go through areas that are supposed to be creepy, in which he'll explore alien caves with very little interaction, and kill defenseless women who are pregnant with alien babies. A lot of this content just isn't needed in my Duke Nukem game. A good example is how many times you have to drive vehicles. These sequences just have Duke plowing over dudes and jumping over stuff with turbo boosts. One level in particular is stretched out because the truck keeps running out of gas. I mean, this literally happens over 4 zones. Shoot some guys for about 6 minutes, grab a gas can, hop back in the car and do something uneventful. Wash, rinse, repeat until done. I'll tell you where I had the most fun in the game. Right here. Yeah. Oh, no. Right here. This makes me seem like less of a pervert, right? The game room inside the strip club is where I faced off with the best part of Duke Nukem Forever. That's right, folks. Ice hockey. While the opponent could have been a bit more challenging, it was a pretty good representation of how you play the real thing. Oh, but I digress. Duke Nukem isn't exactly an attractive game either, but I'm going to be lenient for a game that is 12 years in the making. It holds up well, but on the PC it seems to use up way more graphics power than it is actually pumping out. I was getting some mixed frame rates when I can play The Witcher 2 at 60 frames per second on Ultra. So this game giving me any kind of issues on my video card pretty much made me confused. I'm going to apologize if I seem like I'm being harsh on the game. In reality, I think it isn't horrible, but it sure is pretty mediocre. It is hard to see a game like Serious Sam or even Bulletstorm look more like a Duke Nukem game than the actual Duke himself. I could actually rant all day about the issues of this game being a throwback with none of the back. It has regenerating health, Duke can only use 2 guns, they run out of bullets in 5 seconds, the classic brute is only used in executions, almost all of his quips are from Duke Nukem 3D, and the boss fights are some of the most boring of all time.
Remain professional, mustn't fanboy, must not fanboy, but oh my god, it's Duke Nukem! I named my daughter Duquette! I even got her tiny toy rocket launchers to play with! I hope she grows up to be just like you!
This game is really not what we expected, or even wanted. Duke Nukem Forever receives a C- from Half-Assed Gaming. The upside about this game finally being released is that we can probably get a reimagined Duke Nukem game that will actually be pretty damn good. For now, all we get is Fail to the King, baby.